I am here with the boys from Capricore.
Yo, guys.
Hello.
Don't be too excited.
Yeah, this is just Capricore, man.
It's Capricore. The fresh band outfit, the psychedelic rock outfit. Would you call yourself that?
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking psychedelic post-punk, Kiwiana, just a little bit of everything.
It's really cute. If you don't mind introducing yourselves for the...
Yeah, so I'm Aidan Ripley. I'm the crazy singer of this band.
And I'm James. I'm the pianist of this band.
What I really want to know about you guys is how did you find a pianist who was keen to be in a rock band?
Well,
because that is rare to find
rare.
keyboardists who are like, yeah,
That's why you call them synth players. you find yourself a synth player, who's keen to be in a band.
yeah. I mean, I just had nothing better to do, really.
Nothing better to do?
No, and I've always wanted to be in some type of band.
Yeah.
And the genres I listen to are, metal and that side of kind of music. So I thought what Aidan was telling me the first time we met sounded pretty cool. I thought I'd give it a shot, and it kind of just took from there.
Yeah, he was just instantly keen. I met him and I was like, so I'm in this band. I can't even remember how I described the band. It was pretty similar. It was like, we do a bit of this and a bit of that.
Yeah.
Can't really explain us, but you're going to be in for a good one if you join us. And then you're like, all right. And he showed up and then he's just been with us ever since. So
True. Yeah. That's like pretty special because I remember when I was doing music, it was really hard to find people to do like keys live and you only have it on like backing tracks and all that.
Yep.
So yeah, yeah. Oh wow, good shit. Cheers, fellas.
cheers.
Happy
Cheers.
Friday. All that good stuff. Watch on that water though, bro. Easy.
I'm driving.
Damn. Yeah, there's a vodka open there. No. So I want to. One thing I've been trying to do a bit more with this podcast is understand why people have pursued doing these quite unique sort of pursuits. Going after music is difficult and it's challenging. It doesn't pay, and I just wanting to know why you guys, your full-time band. What made you want to pursue being in a full-time band?
I mean, I've just been cursed with this. Cursed with writing too many songs and just like I have to do it. It's kind of like oxygen for me. So yeah, it was never really a choice that much. Like I've always been creatively doing stuff, whether, when I was a little kid, kind of acting or drawing or singing. And then music was just the best way for me to express myself, I guess.
Right.
So it was going to happen either way. And then it's like, well, if I'm going to be doing it, I've got to be doing it good, So that's, it isn't really a choice with me, I think. I think it's just like, I have to do it.
I have to do it?
Yeah.
And to do like guitar, what was first? Singing or playing?
Singing, yeah.
Singing
So
was first?
when I was a little kid, I was like, technically like writing songs, but it was all just in my head. So I used to just sing these random little songs. And I think it was my dad that told me, okay, you should probably like learn an instrument and then you can like structure your songs a bit better. So I learned guitar just to really write songs and sing in a band. So
True.
yeah.
So just to be like learning guitar to be in a band, that was the reason why.
Yeah,
you
that
learned
was
guitar.
the main reason. It was
okay.
to like kind of have my songs like properly written out, I guess. Like you get the chords and stuff.
You were always just humming melodies.
Yeah, because before I was just humming melodies or just
Yeah,
like writing lyrics here and there. So being able to play the guitar and stuff helped me structure it a bit more. But yeah, so it's quite weird. Like a lot of people just learn the instrument because they're passionate about the instrument. But for me, it was very much like, I want to do this to be in a band or to like be able to properly write my music out to share it with people.
Interesting. So that was a purpose, like straight away. For
there
learning
was an
guitar.
intention. Yeah.
Interesting.
So it kept me motivated.
Yeah, that's quite unique. Because most people will learn guitar or instrument because they just either love the instrument or they listen to a lot of music that has the instrument in it.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, I could be in a band or I could, like do my own solo music or something. So
yeah.
Oh, cool. What about yourself, James?
What was the question again?
Something about being in a band.
Yeah. Well, what was the reason you decided to follow? You wanted to follow the passion of being in a band or playing the piano or like playing keys.
So I first started playing keys when I was 14. My friend at the time was also learning piano, and he was showing me he could play the COD Zombies theme song on the piano, and I thought,
man.
oh my gosh, you could do that. I could do that too. So I got my dad to get me like a really cheap piano synthesizer keyboard thing. I don't know how much it was, but I just started watching YouTube videos on how to play like video game songs and themes that I liked. And then I started liking piano a bit more, so I started getting lessons. Not really, I just started watching YouTube videos on how to play more.
Modern lessons.
Yeah, that's how you learn now. But
Yeah.
so that kind of just led to where I am now, like meeting Aidan, because I went to music lessons at an online school, and the teacher introduced me to Aidan.
Yeah.
We were both too shy to talk to each other.
Yeah, that's what's funny. Yeah, the teacher was like, "You should go talk to this guy," because we were like,
It's almost like your mum being like, "Oh, hang out."
yeah.
With me. And, it's like, oh.
And then we were like, "All right."
Yeah.
It's like poke the shy kids until they talk to each other.
Yeah. And so he gave in to her, and he came up to me.
Yeah. I was
wasn't
like,
giving
I
in.
do really need a keyboard player.
Yeah. Yeah, so he came up to me, gave his speech, and yeah, I've always kind of wanted to do stuff with music since I started playing piano as well. So I thought an opportunities arose, I might as well take it.
Yeah. So the intention though was in the beginning was just to like learn your favorite music, like to just like learn like so video games was your entry, video game soundtracks, movie soundtracks as well, or mainly.
Yeah, I learned like Harry Potter and the real simple stuff like that.
No, that's cool. Interesting. Quite different stories, but also like unique. I think most people would. Trying to think, do I know anybody who's ever learned piano just to like play video game music? I don't really know. So probably the first. So video games were first, obviously.
Yeah,
that's cool. Yeah, cool. Yeah, Call of Duty Zombies pretty mean though. That's a good. That's a good ass time.
Sorry.
No, good. Yeah. Oh, sweet. And then when I watched you guys the other week, that was real fun. And what I really captured me about you guys was the visual. You guys put a lot of effort into visual, not just with the projector and with all the visuals behind you guys, but also on stage. You got the Jafa sign, you got all kinds of different things going on. What was when did you guys kind of get the idea to be like, we need to, what's going to separate us, or what was the conversation there?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was mostly when we were going through Battle of the Bands. We did the Battle of the Bands at Ding Dong last year. And it was thinking about like what can make us different. Also because our songs are very expressive and kind of out the gate half of the time anyway. So it was like, okay, we want to have like a memorable performance. How can we match visually or like theatrically to what the songs are about? And that'll make people like remember the music a bit more.
Definitely.
So I remember we just like started just coming up with all sorts of ideas, and then once we started, now that's kind of what we do with every song. Yeah. It's like, okay, what should we do for this one? Or like, what prop should we bring out? Or, what crazy thing should I be saying before we play the song?
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
So it's a part of the songwriting now almost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Yeah, I love that when you guys did like the your song Jafa, which are gonna come out soon, right? That's fucking crack up. That's so good. Yeah. I really enjoyed that, and then I think also the little rants that you kind of do within your songs. I guess I just haven't really see that very often, like in live music. Like people want to I guess people don't really rant when it comes to like. Maybe in like hip hop and things like that.
I'd take a lot of influence from that
I
kind
could
of
kind of
stuff,
hear
though.
that. Yeah. Who's one of you? We got any favorite rappers at the moment you listen to?
Danny Brown.
Danny Brown
is my favorite. I just love how he expresses his art through his voice. So that's definitely big influence. JPEG Mafia, Kendrick. I mean, everyone loves Kendrick. But just the lyricism and everything.
Yeah, his lyricism is pretty next level.
I like any album or recording where it goes beyond just the song and like you can hear other things going on that reflect the music. So it's definitely storytelling. Like I'm here to tell stories. Yeah.
What was the inspiration behind? I know you haven't released it, but what's the inspiration behind Jafa?
I'm an Aucklander, you know. And it's kind of observations of being an Aucklander.
Was it tongue in cheek, or is it like tongue in cheek but like observational? So like looking at
kind of mostly just observing things. Like there's a bit of commentary in it, but it is just like kind of just explaining what it's like. And I feel like a lot of the Kiwiana stuff that comes out, maybe because it's like sponsored by the government or whatever, it's like very much like, you know, clean and green New Zealand, it's a happy place. I don't know. And it is stuff like listening to Kendrick or artists like that, where it's like painting this picture of realism, you know, kind of getting across, this is what it's really like.
Yeah.
And that song is just, what I think it's really like to be an Aucklander. And it's not saying everything's bad. It's kind of a fun song as well. But it also just, I'm just painting a clear picture of what I see around me.
Yeah, like I really enjoy the tongue in cheek of it and that, and I think it's really important to like when you're painting a picture for somebody who maybe doesn't, you know, if you have like overseas listeners and that, it's like, oh, this is where I'm from, this is actually what it's like, you know, your image of New Zealand of hobbits and Lord of the Rings isn't necessarily true.
Especially for Auckland, it is its own separate thing
for sure, and all the personalities in Auckland as well, you know, it's a big like city land-wise, I suppose, but like it's like was it 1.5 million people, so you get north, south, east, west, everyone's a little bit different. You know, so, and the CBD is also like, I mean, I've talked about this on this podcast before, like just watching kind of the downfall of the CBD in the past, like, well, since COVID essentially. You know, we talked about a lot. Did you guys grow up like around Central, or did you grow up, where did you guys grow up in Auckland?
I grew up in Te Atatu, West Auckland. Yeah.
Nice.
And then I'm actually in Whangaparoa now.
Oh, wow.
So,
very north.
very different, but way up
north.
north. Yeah.
Nice. What about yourself?
I grew up in Kumeu.
Oh,
so northwest, and now I live in Coatesville. Yeah.
Oh, I haven't been out to Coatesville much. Oh, nice. Yeah, I guess bringing in like those personalities. What's a personality of Auckland? What's one of your favorites?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, you got the classic Westie, the classic Westie.
Yeah. The Bogan for anyone
listening.
The
Bogans.
Mullet.
The Bogans. They, you know.
Love Motorsport.
They're entertaining.
Yeah, entertaining. Line Reds. Yeah.
You got those. And then, I mean, there's so many different personalities in Auckland, though. And that's kind of what we were trying to capture in Jafa, is that there's just so many different types of people. And we've had that so much with being in a band. Like, we were talking about this the other day. Like, we've met some of the wackiest people just from being in a band, and you got to play at all these
certainly
different,
do.
All these 100%. Different venues, and you just meet. I mean, musicians, we're all kind of crazy, but
definitely
everyone involved in the industry as well, or like the people going out to the gigs. Like, there's just so many different personalities, and I love that. Like for me, that's just like songwriting fuel. Yeah.
There's a lot of weirdos who love music, especially local gigs, but it's like beautiful in a way because you just get so many people who are from different walks of life and so many like bizarre personalities. I think one of my favorites is there's been a few venues I've been to, and you guys probably have as well, and just attracts like people you're like, where do you exist? Where do you reside? I just haven't met no one like you, and you just get some funny stories and stuff, and it's like but have you guys done out of Auckland gigs yet? Have you done anything out of Auckland?
Yeah, well, we played. This was we kind of do this every New Year around. There's all the campers up in Whangaruru.
Where's that?
It's like quite up north. And it's by Bland Bay Beach is where all the campers are, and you get all these people just out to see a free show. They get all their camper chairs out and all that. And we play to all of them, and they don't know what they're going to be getting in for, you know. And we just kind of do our thing up there, but it's really cool because you get hundreds of people pulling up to it. I guess because there's not a lot of music around there all the time, so it's like all these families and stuff, and
it was a family event.
So it's like Capricore family event. We're going to change some of our lyrics a little bit, I guess.
It's not too PG.
But that's the main one I think we've done, eh?
Yeah, I think that's the only one we've done outside of Auckland.
Yeah, but we are planning to do some more, actually. Yeah,
nice.
It's in the plans.
That's exciting. What's I guess like I listened to you guys have, because you have one song out, Dreamer, which I really like that song. Very like, yeah, I like you guys really do cover a lot of different sort of like subgenres within it. And it's interesting because even like I had the boys from Offside on, and they're sort of not the same as you guys, but they cover a lot of little different sort of niches within their music. Because I noticed on the list you guys will have like, is it Jeff Buckley I saw on the list?
Oh yeah.
Was it? And then
he
I
is
saw
an
like,
influence.
and I saw like Deftones. I'm like, oh wow, all right,
and
let's go.
I mean, we both love Deftones.
Yeah.
But we just listen to all sorts of music.
That's great.
And I mean, some people have criticized me for this, but I think it's a great thing that we like pull from so many genres. But some people are like, oh, you gotta stick to one thing, and do that well. But for me, it's like that's impossible. I want to write so much music, and I don't want to be caught in a box, But yeah, doing a bit of everything is more fun. It's more entertaining.
Yeah, especially with you guys in the early days, like some of the offside as well. You guys have kind of set yourselves up with having a lot of different music influences and sounds and soundscapes to melodies. It's quite a lot to build off for future, which is exciting because it means you can go in whichever way you like. Leaves more room, more openness. So yeah, that's it's exciting. I'm really like stoked to see more bands do that because for a while it's like rock band, rock, metal band, metal, alternate indie. It's like just indie,
And I mean, for us, it gives us more gig opportunities too because we can play with all sorts of different types of bands, and we get respect from musicians that you wouldn't even think, like freaking noise rock bands and stuff, like coming up to us and be like, "Yeah, we love this," and then like people who only like pop music, like, "I really like that Dreamer song," we kind of connect to a lot of different types of music fans, which is really cool because that's the kind of music listener I am. Like, I listen to all sorts, so. I'm loving that that's kind of our fan base as well. It's people who listen to a bit of everything.
I love the genre noise rock. That always makes me laugh.
Oh, yeah. It's a funny one. I've been asked about that by some people, like, what is noise rock?
What is noise rock?
And it's just noise.
Because I've only seen, when I was at uni and I saw like, do you guys go to like do music at university or anything like that?
No.
Oh right. Anyway, I won't recommend it. But anyway, when I did it, I did like a paper, and I remember when every Friday it was like these composition days. It sounds a lot cooler than what it was, but it was all these hoity-toity academic people who come in with what they believe to be good music, which oh gosh, it was painful. Yeah. But what they would do is like you get some of these noise artists come in, and they just like bring in like whatever instrument or synth.
With 50 pedals.
But what they do is they just like play around for like half an hour, and they're like, "This is my composition about XYZ, blah blah blah, and this is all my inspiration." It's just old mate fiddling with a filter. I'm like, yeah.
That is kind of noise rock to an extent.
Yeah. I mean, like
some people are better than others, though. Some people, sometimes I do get the feels with them turning their pedal knobs, but.
But for I'm all for experimentation, listening to jams. Like there's a time and place for it. But when it's like just fiddling with your effects pedal or fiddling with, I don't know. Maybe I'm just not mentally advanced enough.
I mean, you still
I
gotta
don't
have
get it,
You still got to have a level of musicianship, I think, with the band.
Maybe that's why I was a B- student. That's probably why I didn't get it, man.
I don't get noise rock. Oh, that's a B. No.
Yeah, pretty much. But what was funny about that course as well was you actually had to write music that your lecturer likes. That's what you're doing. Which is why I fucking didn't like it. Because it was like, now it's like, it depends on like the rules. They had that's the other thing about doing music in these places. It's a cool exercise. You're given a set of rules, right? You have to kind of be confined in this box of what you're writing. But then it would just be down to like if the lecturer is into it or not. And
this is reminding me of, our Year Na Year song.
Yeah, great. Right? I enjoyed that.
Okay, that was written for a school project in high school.
True.
And this is what started this big kind of theme for Capricore. This is pre-Capricore, actually, I think, like just before the band was under that name. I was finishing up high school and I got this assignment which said you had to write, it's a composition one, but you had to write about your home or something. It's like, write about home or your country. And I was like, that's so boring. Like I was really pissed off that was the theme. So Year Na Year was kind of me. I was like, okay, I'll write about New Zealand. And it was kind of me taking the piss a bit, and I wrote it as a satirical song. But it's really funny because everyone loves it and thinks of New Zealand at the same time. So I still I fulfilled the assignment, but I got to do it in my own way. And that's like become one of our most favorite songs live. Like everyone's like, play it, yeah, play it, man. So it's really funny. Like I wrote that because I was like grumpy that I had to write about home when I wanted to be writing about, I don't know, like aliens in outer space or something, you know?
Definitely. What if the aliens were like just, a bunch of bogans?
New Zealanders.
Yeah, a bunch of bogans.
Bunch of bogans. Maybe that's where they reside.
Maybe. We don't know yet. I'm sure people out west believe they've seen aliens, though. I'm sure they do.
Every like house party, like around the back, there's that one guy who's just like, look up there, man.
Yeah.
Smoking a joint. There's aliens up there. Man.
Yeah, turns out it's just Starlink.
It's just Elon Musk.
Maybe an alien. We don't know.
Maybe an alien.
Maybe. It's always funny like those geniuses. It's like, should they be in a mental asylum or are they? They are genius. It's like this weird line. It's like really smart and intelligent or absolutely bonkers.
Yeah.
It's kind of not. It's like So I imagine a lot of people like those mental hospitals. I always wonder how many of those guys are geniuses. I always
50%.
I always wonder.
Yeah.
But they just
So
unfortunately.
I'll end up one day.
And so there with
one of
those suits.
Like,
or whatever.
He's songwriting right now.
He's composing. He's got it's the modern day Mozart in there. So keep leave him to it. Yeah. What do you guys outside of music? What else do you guys do? You guys do a bit of sports, video games? What else do you guys like to get up to?
I mean, you're a gamer.
Occasionally, yeah.
Occasionally.
I dabble.
I dabble in
video games. Yeah.
Got any favorites right now?
It's a little bit embarrassing, but Skylanders.
Skylanders.
Hell yeah.
I don't know it.
It's like it's a game, and you have a portal, so it needs extensions to play.
Okay.
So it has a little circle, and they call it the portal of power, and then they have little figurines
Little
that you
toys.
can put on.
Oh,
the
so
portal.
is it kind of like Warcraft?
No.
No,
It's
never
its
mind.
own weird little thing.
Yeah.
No, Warhammer. Sorry.
I've never played that one.
I never got turned on. No, because I say figurines, but it's obviously on the video game. But it just reminds
you
me of, like,
need
the
the
little
figurines to play
So
the game.
you put it in the portal, and then it loads into the game. So this is like
That's pretty dope.
it's
It
a
is.
cool
Pretty
kids
cool.
game. But I find it really funny because it was like one of my favorite childhood games, and he's just suddenly got this fixation on it again.
Yeah.
And
that's cool.
now I'm kind of reliving my Skylanders years. So that's the secret about Capricore is we're Skylanders nerds.
Skylanders.
Yeah.
True. That sounds fun.
But it is fun.
Yeah.
You get to like make your own characters and then like is it
Oh,
that,
well,
or
in
is
the
it-
last game, yes. You get to
Yeah.
make your own Skylander. But the other ones, it's like these toys, and then you put them on the portal, which is like glowing and stuff, and then like they pop up in the game, and you can like level them up. And
that sounds pretty
It is
neat,
pretty
doesn't it?
cool.
That sounds
Yeah.
pretty fun.
It's
Yeah.
definitely very cool technology for the time when it came out.
yeah.
I just never heard of it. Oh,
Yeah.
out of it. No, because I got a couple of mates who do Warhammer. They're really into it, and it's an expensive hobby.
Yeah.
But they spend just so much time with the painting and stuff. Man, it's
Yeah.
cool. I just don't have patience for
Yeah.
it. I tried it once at a where was it? I think it was at a Overload. That's right. I went to one of those, and I was like, "Fuck!" Like just staring at the tiny figures trying to paint. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm just too retarded. I'm just like, ugh. But yeah, it's cool, sweet. Oh, that's fun. What about yourself, bro?
Music has just consumed my life. I don't know. Like most of my time is spent like marketing my music or writing more songs or like, what's with that water, man?
What I flicked into my eye.
Damn, it's hitting.
Spikes it, man.
It's hitting now. Are you feeling it now, Mr. Krabs?
Yes.
Yeah, it's just I mostly do music. I sometimes read. I used to do a bit of acting. So
yeah,
that's
because I
something could
remember
go
when
back
we talked
into.
at the gig, you said you'd come from doing a bit of theatre as
Yeah.
well.
It's funny because I was never really like a theatre kid. That was never my personality. But I went to this theatre school in the North Shore, and it was pretty cool. I mean, I was a bit of a diamond in the rough in a way because I couldn't afford the lessons for that long, so I just did the lessons for a little bit just to try and like connect with the community and stuff. But then I ended up getting a really cool offer to continue for free and stuff just because I was like really good at what I did.
Mean.
And I did this really cool production. It was Beauty and the Beast, and I was the Beast. And I think they liked me because I was like just fully contorted my body and my voice, you know. And like, I'm good at shit like that. Like even
That's
on
sick.
stage, that's what I do. Like,
Yeah, you have a very
with my voice,
that stage
it's-
presence you've got. It's pretty special, I have to say.
Thank you. I try. But
It's like you're kind of like It's I think bringing that in. I think for a long time, especially now as being in New Zealand, I think if you're in a band, and especially a rock band, and you try and be like an eccentric character, you're gonna get I don't know if you've had it, but I've seen people get it where they get like a very divided response, and they're just like, "That's fucking cringe."
Yes.
Or like that's like, why are you doing that? It's
funny
like,
'cause-
play the song, or like that old mate, what's his name, Liam Gallagher. He's always like,
Yeah.
"Don't fucking jump around, just fucking play the song." And it's just like, yeah, but like we're not all Liam Gallagher, mate.
yeah, I mean, I'm a massive David Bowie fan, so
Yeah, well, he's very eccentric,
Yeah.
right? But like the stage presence of doing like some funny and like more original
Yeah.
things rather than just like, oh, we're just
But I
gonna...
get it. There's some people
Yeah.
when you see them on stage, and you're like, that is fucking cringe. That's the difficult thing. Is like I'm a
That
bit
fine- that
judgy.
fine line,
I'm a
that
bit
fine
judgy
line.
myself, but for me, it's like, I don't know. It's purely expressing the songs. I get off stage, and everyone's like, "Oh, he's just this quiet, nice guy." That's why I think people do like it. Is I get off stage, and then I'm just like back to normal Aidan mode. I get up there, and then it's kind of part of the music. Yeah, but I can kind of understand that, and especially in New Zealand. But I find the opposite. There's so many singers who are just really flat voice, like, like they
Yeah.
can barely sing.
Yeah.
And they're just, they're in a band, they're doing what they're doing. But I always think, like, I want more interesting vocalists in the Auckland music scene.
Yeah,
So that's what I want to bring to the table, is
know.
like something different. And yeah, like what I was saying before with like doing voices and stuff, that's kind of, I've never had vocal lessons really.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's just kind of like, so when I'm singing a part, I would learn by like listening to different vocalists and trying to like copy the way that their voice would be from all sorts, like even people like Henry Rollins or something, like even like
Yeah.
punk artists, like how are they doing that with their voice? Or I kind of do like vocal impressions, and then I pretend like if you're a guitarist, you got your pedals. I've got like vocal filter pedals. So when I'm singing, I'm like, do I want to do this with my voice? I'm kind of tweaking the way I use my voice. And it's this similar thing with acting, like when you're doing a voice for a character. And that's how I sing.
That's sick.
Yeah.
That's such a cool way of thinking about it. Yeah, that's funny because like when I tried to start singing, it was fucking bad. It was so like off key, and then I was like, I need to like figure this out. And then I kind of got some lessons. I'm like, okay, that's sort of how I do it. And I never did like any. I think having the acting part has probably really helped you.
Yeah.
I think, and being able to like copy voices and that, and because I think is it in acting as well, you need to find ways to preserve your voice. Was that
Yeah,
more in
kind of. They
theatre,
taught me
more
a bit
like
of that.
theatre, right?
Like, I'm thinking of having some more vocal lessons just to be extra safe, because I do a lot of crazy shit with my voice.
You do,
Because
yeah,
I'm like
yeah.
doing the, normal singing, and then I do a bit of screeching, and then a bit of yelling, and then a bit of talking. Like, I do everything, like sometimes in one song. But yeah, I don't know. I think the acting definitely helped. And but I also tell people, a lot of people come up to me, like I've had so many people say this. They're like, "You're so good at singing," and they're like, "I can't really sing. Like, what should I do?" And a lot of my favorite vocalists can't sing. Like, I love Lou Reed from the Velvet Underground. He can't sing at all. He can't even hold one note.
Yeah, that's
barely.
true. That's true.
But it's all about, for me, it's like the expression comes first. So if you can't sing, but you're like, you got good lyrics and you're expressing in the right way with your voice, that's interesting to me. Like, I might love your voice just as much as someone who's classically trained or something,
It's true, yeah, because often, like, even I found if you get, like, singers who are considered perfect or pitch perfect and listen to it, it's not actually very interesting. It can not be interesting.
Yeah,
because
yeah,
it's,
yeah.
like, too perfect.
Too perfect.
Yeah, because it's kind of misses, like, you kind of, like, sometimes it's nice to have those, like...
Bit of humanity.
Yeah, or,
Yeah.
like, too, over the top, so... I was having a conversation the other week about like overproduction as well, like in a lot of music, and like you start losing like human sort of nuances and that. But yeah, like I think it also depends what kind of vocalist you want to be. I think
Yeah.
what kind of singer do you want to be? Because if you want to be like maybe more like the Lou Reed or even like David Bowie. I mean, I wouldn't call David Bowie like a super amazing
He's
melodic,
interesting,
pitch perfect
yeah.
singer. But yeah, if you've got the character and you can pull it off, then it can be really good. I always wonder what people would initially would have thought the first time they heard. I'm trying to think of the band who had a really rough voice. Back in the day, I'm trying to think of ones. I think a funny one was Sex Pistols, Johnny Rotten.
Yeah, I was watching Johnny Rotten
can't really sing
interviews the other day. No, he can't. But I love the way that he's one of my influences. I don't even listen to much Sex Pistols, but when I'm on stage, I do the eyes and everything, and the Johnny Rotten type thing. And when we're kind of talking like that. I find that really freaking cool.
He's super entertaining, but he seems like a massive twat. But he's entertaining.
But he's really entertaining, and it's all about that expression again. But yeah, he can't sing, and that's most punk music. They can't actually really sing.
Or play their instruments initially. That's the other thing.
But it's the expression, right?
Expression. Yeah, I think a lot of I do wonder, now, because with punk, I mean, you can be so punk in terms of you record at home. You don't need to, everything is on your own. You don't need to really. It depends, what defines punk? Because then if you
everything's changing, isn't it?
Because what defines
everything's post-punk now. Really.
Post-punk,
yeah, nearly everything's post-punk these days.
Yeah, are you talking about more the Joy Division sound, or you mean?
Yeah, but I mean, even when bands can get pretty heavy, they're often kind of considered post-punk a lot of the time.
Oh,
but I guess if you've got that kind of original punky sound like what you were talking about, where it's kind of more tinny sounding, more just completely aggressive in that way, that's true punk. But I've seen so many times there's a band that I've totally thought this is a punk band, and then it's listed as post-punk just because it's out now or something. It's it does get a bit confusing these days, eh?
Suppose so. I think for me, what always would define post-punk, I don't know why, it was always as soon as they bring in a chorus guitar sound, it's post-punk.
True,
post-punk, immediately, or a bit of synth. It's
a bit more melody going on.
Yeah, they're singing post-punk.
Yeah.
Suddenly it's not punk really anymore. But it's such a, I think the definition of that, I don't even know what that is now.
Well, it's so confusing as well because people try and say that post-punk was invented before punk, but it's called post-punk, so it's really confusing. With the Velvet Underground and stuff, that's classified as kind of post-punk, but it's that's pre-punk. So, but there's so many genres these days. It's it's so loose that it's hard to define now, especially because you're looking back at history and then you've got newer groups or newer genres that then say, oh, well, no, this is our genre, but back then, but it's it didn't exist back then. So I think it's just confused things a lot more with people explaining what style of music they're listening to.
Yeah.
I've had people I've seen people have major debates about this stuff. They're no, it's this genre. No, it's this genre. And
the genre gatekeepers.
Yeah.
There's real bad, or you probably know in the metal community.
Oh, yes.
It's fucking terrible. It's embarrassing. It's do we not have anything else to do? Apart from put people in these little no, this is deathcore / insert, but it's a different variation of deathcore because he doesn't do the he does the and it's
yeah.
So it's funny.
Does it sound like a ring wraith or does it sound like an orc?
Does it sound like a pterodactyl? Has it got that scream going on? Yeah. I've actually been listening to again back into some Viada's Murder at the moment. I used to like them back in the day, and I was I've been a bit sometimes I've been a bit kind of been listening to a lot of, I had a big house music phase and listening to electronica, and then I was I don't know, at the moment, I guess trying to find work and do other things, and feeling a bit whatever, and I'm fuck, I'm getting annoyed, and I'm what about putting on that aggressive metal? I forgot about that and cranked that on. I'm why did I stop listening to this? And I'm
so good, man.
But after an album, I'm
all right, that's enough.
We'll have some time after that. Yeah. I find it difficult now. I don't know if you find it with listening to do you listen to there's really heavy metal or very intense music? The older I've gotten, unless it's live, I find I can't listen to it for as long.
Yeah.
Do you find that?
Yeah, I definitely used to just blast Slipknot 24/7 for about a year when I was 15.
Of course. The prime age for Slipknot listener.
And they're definitely not as good as I once thought they were. They're still good. It's just, I can't listen to them as much as I was.
Yeah, I just find with I remember again another one was Architects, a lot of that early stuff, and with the math rock and crazy stuff, and I was just fucking heavy and crazy, and I find now I'm too much.
Yeah.
It's I don't know, it's funny, but with time I still love it, and watching metal live, especially the more extreme genres, is awesome. It's so fun.
Yeah.
But at home on recording, it's I don't know, I sort of find it can be not as enjoyable as I once was. But yeah, I still like. I mean, yeah, there's some bands that like definitely like Slipknot is a funny one because I was obsessed with them as well. I think everybody was sort of for a time period, but then yeah, like the new stuff it's just I don't even know if it's like Slipknot anymore. Like so many new members.
definitely
Have you
not.
seen the new drummer? I forgot his name.
I think it's
the Brazilian
Elroy
fella.
Casablanca.
Yeah, he's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I actually haven't seen much of
drumming.
him.
Oh, actually, check out the drumming videos. They're
Oh, yeah.
nuts. They're fucking like, it's wild.
Yeah.
Like how good he is and like how technical. Like if you're into like this kind of death metal drumming and stuff, it's just pretty next level. Yeah. No death metal from you guys? No.
I don't think not much.
No.
I don't know any bands that do it, at least, but I probably definitely heard a few.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, like incorporating it into your.
Oh,
guys'
sorry,
he's
I thought you
asking
meant
if-
listening.
No,
Sorry.
he doesn't even listen to death metal.
No. What is
I don't
death
know.
metal?
No, yeah. Exactly.
Sometimes I'm like, oh, could we like put a little bit of black metal, or freaking. I think we've got close to like kind of stoner metal a few times.
Get
a
it
few
real slow.
times,
Yeah, real
Yeah.
slow.
Boom, boom, boom. You know, kind of doomy.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I do like a bit of doom metal, and yeah, I was listening to a bit of black metal, like mid last year. I don't know what happened, and I know it wasn't because of Kanye.
What a time! What a time!
Yeah, it's freaking Dark Throne. And
Dark Throne. Yeah, that's fucking heavy. That's
It's-
like it sounds like it's recorded.
but I don't
like,
know.
in a
It's like
cave.
it's kind of relaxing. I find
Yeah.
that black metal is almost relaxing. Like I
see,
could like
I
almost
see.
sleep to it. I don't know.
I think for me, like the frequency of black metal, it's so tinny and like high frequency. I like it. It just it's like like too much for me. But sometimes listening to like recently I've been listening to some Viada's Murder and stuff.
Yeah.
It's really low, good like drop E, like fucking all that shit. And I'm like, oh, it's like. I don't know, yeah.
You got the whole incorporation of like shoegaze with it now, the newer genre, like
Yeah.
freaking
That's true.
Sunbather. Like that album is so good. So maybe it was because I was listening to stuff like that, and then I was also listening to Dark Throne at the same time, and I was like, oh yeah, it's similar enough.
What's a band that you listen to, or both you guys, which people might be surprised about?
I mean, I gotta think. People who know me know that I'm a bit of an elitist. So like when it comes to the music I listen to, it's just really funny because Capricore is kind of some of our stuff is kind of mainstream sounding. Some of it we're still a bit out the gate, but like it's like for me, it's like a lot of those classic. Like I'm a Radiohead fan.
Oh yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. I must confess. No, but I'm trying to think of a surprising one where people will be like, I mean, some people are really surprised I listen to hip hop. Like some people are like, what, really? But I'm trying to think of a band that is, I don't know. I mean, people are surprised that we both like Deftones and also like say that they're an influence because it's not really obvious in our sound at all.
Yeah.
Some of the soundscape stuff, but
Yeah.
I mean, maybe you wouldn't call that just Deftones, but
Yeah.
it makes sense to my ears.
I don't know. What about you?
I don't know. I used to listen to a lot of dubstep
Oh yeah,
before I got into Slipknot.
true.
And that's what converted me.
Oh, dubstep was your transition into metal.
Yeah.
That's correct. Like Skrillex and stuff, or more
Yeah,
like,
I was jamming Skrillex when I was like
Flux
10.
Pavilion and all that shit.
Yeah.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah, there's this one YouTube channel called Dubstep Gutter, and I would
Dubstep
just every new song that they would post, I would listen to it, and I used to jam it.
That's fun. Well, you did like UK. You remember UKF stuff? Did you listen to? Like, UKF
Occasionally,
dubstep?
some of that stuff. Yeah,
Yeah, they had a real point in time for like about 3 years, and
Yeah.
it was just fucking everywhere. It
Yeah,
was
I
funny.
remember,
and then it was just gone. It was like that's enough.
yeah. I remember when the Northwest Mall first opened in 2016. They were having like little events outside, and there was like a dance group dancing to dubstep, and I was like, oh my god, this is so cool. And I went up to them afterwards and asked what song was that, and they said it was UKF. I forgot which song, but it was by them.
UKF was the channel they kind of put up.
Yeah, I think they just told me to go to that.
I'll go to that. Oh yeah, there's
yeah,
just so many. Yeah. I remember like YouTube MP3 downloaded that shit back in the day.
Yeah.
Fucking cranking. Oh, cool. Dubstep into metal. Yeah, it's funny. I think for me it was actually like hip hop. I remember I bought when I was young. It was like Scribe, that first album. Still goated album, Crusader. And then I kind of listened to like Linkin Park, and I'm like, oh,
yeah.
this is awesome. This is like hip hop, and it's got the rock in it.
Yeah.
And from there, that was, Linkin Park was my gateway. But I think a lot of people's gateway was Linkin Park. Some people get gateway from Slipknot. I'm like, which song did you listen to?
Psychosocial was my first song.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Interesting, because that's like I guess the chorus is very melodic. It is pretty poppy, but some of it it's pretty fucking heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was pretty much just like the fast-paced, loud type of music.
Aggressive, yeah, because dubstep is also like, it's aggressive.
Yeah.
It's really in your face, and it's like, you either love it or you hate it.
Yep.
Yeah, very polarizing genre, that one.
It's pretty funny because for me, I've had to like go backwards, right? So my dad was like a metalhead and my mum was a goth. So when I was a kid,
true.
I was surrounded by intensely heavy music or really dark out the gate type stuff. So I've had to like try so hard to listen to like
Mainstream.
anything that's mainstream
It's
or,
so interesting.
or pop music.
Wow.
Like it's
Yeah,
really
yeah.
hard for me to hear. Like everyone complains about it because sometimes I get angry. Like it's the same response that someone would have to metal, which is funny because I'm not even a metalhead. But like I struggle sometimes to listen to normal mainstream music without just like feeling anger for some reason.
I totally understand.
Which is weird though, because like I like some stuff that is kind of not too out there, but yeah, there's some things where I've had to really like try and teach myself to be able to listen to things, but it's like the opposite. Like something like Linkin Park, I've had to try so hard to like be all right with it.
Be all right with it.
Which is really weird, like because a lot of other people, it's like the opposite thing, where that's the gateway into the.
Well,
alternative.
what is it? Because it was like growing up, your parents were listening to such alternative music.
Yeah, and it's like this is real alternative.
Yeah.
This is like
Yeah.
I had a lot of that, but it's like when you're a kid, it's like you kind of just pick up on all that, and also just like I was listening to so much of that kind of stuff that would sound weird if it was like too commercial or anything. It's really weird. So
Yeah.
now I've had to like try and go backwards and be like, okay, now this pop is alright, and like I can respect this. And, yeah.
Depends on the place where it comes from, because Linkin Park's a really funny one. I mean, I've kind of said this on the podcast before, but before they got signed, they got rejected by like 40 record labels.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, to us, it's like, oh, it's, that makes complete sense why it's so famous. It's like, at the time, not really. So
Yeah.
could be like, oh, it's corporate music. It's like corporate angst. It's like, not
Yeah,
really.
yeah.
I recently watched the documentary about Nickelback as well.
Same. I
recently.
watched that documentary.
It's a good documentary.
It was really good. I felt so sorry for them.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, no way. I didn't realize. Roadrunner. I was like, fuck, that's right. On a metal label. Like, I completely forgot about that. Very surprising. But yeah, like, whether you hate them or not, that's a fucking great songwriting. You cannot deny Nickelback songwriting being top tier, like top tier pop rock, hard rock.
But that's what I meant, and that's
top
why
level.
I think over the last few years I've changed a lot in the way that I can respect a lot of different genres now for like what it is, and and it was the same actually with hip hop. I used to really like think it wasn't that good when I was like a young teenager. And then I just started getting into it, and now I've realized like a lot of the exciting stuff that's actually happening right now is in the hip hop industry, even like a lot more than the rock industry, even with like the creativity and the kind of doing new things that haven't been done before. There's a lot of exciting stuff happening. So yeah, it's definitely, I've been trying to be more open in more recent years, which has definitely helped with my songwriting to just be open to all sorts of genres.
Yeah, I remember I had to try and turn myself on to more, like, hip-hop was fun, because I listened to hip-hop when I was, like, young, like, Eminem and all that, and then I found rock, and then I, like, completely left hip-hop.
Yeah.
And then everyone in school was listening to a lot of rap, and I fucking hated it, mainly because everyone would, like, try and be gangster, and that would just really fuck me off.
Yeah.
I'm like, nah, guys, we're at a nice school, like, we're not gangsters out here, bro.
Yeah.
And it just really annoyed me. I remember one group I really didn't like when I first heard them was Homebrew.
Oh, yeah.
I really didn't like them, but it's also because the people who I knew who listened to them, and then I actually sat down and listened to them, and I'm like, oh, this is really good. This is really good. And again, like, captures New Zealand for what it really is. And I hadn't really heard anybody do that in New Zealand music, like, at that time, like, really, like, make commentary about, what it's like living in, like, New Zealand and being, blue collar and all that shit. And I'm like, oh, it's fucking cool. And I saw them live a few times, and they're fucking amazing. Really good. They bring on a whole band, and The frontman's wild dude, but yeah, fucking really good music.
No, that's
But
sick.
yeah, I know what you mean by like trying to teach yourself to
Yeah.
like force like one thing I've tried and I can't do is country. I've tried.
That's
Yeah.
the one actually. Like,
Yeah.
I talk to everyone.
It's really hard to
Yeah.
like get into that.
I'm trying to think of a good country. Like sometimes Johnny Cash can be interesting, but I can't just listen to a bunch of it.
I can't as well. Yeah.
Big Thief are pretty cool.
Don't know-
They're
don't know
like
Big
kind of, but they're mixing in Indian alternative with it. So it's like a almost country, but
Okay.
then there'll be like a track where it's like sounds much more like indie alternative.
Okay.
So that would be my recommendation.
Big Thief.
That could
okay.
maybe be, Big Thief. Yeah.
I just remember. In Cuba they got like the folk festival. Do they still do that? There's like there was like
I think
that-
it's still happening.
the-
I've been
the-
told to go so many
I,
times.
went, I
but I
went.
keep forgetting.
I went years ago, like the Cumu like folk festival, and again, like at the time, I tried, and it was like guys with banjos, mandolins,
Yeah.
and I'm like, I know they're playing good,
Yeah.
but I'm not. I don't like this. I think it's just I don't know something about like the tonal qualities or like the
Yeah.
voice. It just I don't know for
voice, a lot of
myself,
the
it just doesn't quite. Because some of them also have like these big stories, you know, behind these folk tales, or
Yeah.
take inspiration from some, I don't know, fantastical
Some
history
fairy
novel
that
or
you
something.
met in Iceland.
Yeah, I'm taking way too many drugs, like, you know, and I'm like, I like try and listen. I'm like, I just can't.
Yeah. No, countries. Yeah, I can't name much country music that I listen to. I don't mind folk, but it's a bit different. But even then, that kind of blends in with
Well,
the
country,
indie,
yeah,
and
folk indie's a funny one. That's a funny, it's like,
Yeah.
yeah. I always found hilarious when people do like those combo genres, and there's like indie pop, and I'm like, wait a minute, it's
Yeah.
like, how does that make sense?
There's the whole folk punk. If you heard
Folk
that.
punk is also
Folk punk,
punk. Yeah, I remember there was a group who I fucking hated and I still don't actually like. Is it Fun? I think they're called. They were a really
Yeah.
big pop indie group. So
Yeah.
I just say my opinions outright. I'm just like, but they were like the indie pop, and I was like, what the fuck, indie pop? That goes
Yeah.
against what I thought indie was all
Yeah.
about, right? Making these big anthems, and I was just like, okay. It sounds like an iPhone commercial. All right, but anyway, yeah, that's my pretentiousness.
Yeah, that's all right.
I've got it too.
We've ended up talking about that. I'm trying to change people. All right, there's a new Aidan. Okay, he's not judging. All music is great music.
All music
okay?
is great
All
music,
music
yeah.
is great music.
Positivity.
Positivity. I love your stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, crack up. All right. Do you? I guess. Do you just sing and play guitar and probably do a bit of bass? I imagine as well. as
Yeah,
a
I can
byproduct?
do a tiny bit of bass.
Do you play anything else?
Not really. I mean, I used to jam out chords on the keyboard ages ago, but then we've got this guy, so like, there's no need for me to do
Shredding
that
it up.
anymore.
Yeah. Just playing solos,
Playing,
left and
yeah.
right.
Yeah. So you just do keys, piano, sort of stuff, or do you play
yeah.
anything else?
I used to do bass a bit, but it wasn't as extensive as my piano playing. I never learned it as well as I did piano. But I still have a little bit of an interest in bass. But other than that, it was...
Did you learn the slap?
No, I tried to. I definitely tried to, but I just couldn't wrap my head around it.
Yeah. Slapping is like, as every bassist day, it's like, do you slap?
Do you slap?
Yeah.
You're not a
Do you
bassist.
even slap, bro?
Do you use a pick? It's something everyone melts down. Like,
Oh my
using a
god,
pick.
yeah, you use a pick and they flip it.
Sacrilege. Blasphemy. All the bassists suddenly on the forums going crazy.
I mean, we're lucky to have a pretty good bassist who plays in a really interesting way. Like,
Yeah.
nearly every song, and this is kind of what's become like a Capricore sound, which I would have never written for my music at all. Like, I would have never thought of it. Is that he like, it's almost like he's playing a double bass. He slides nearly everything. You know, like nearly in every song there's, you know, and it just becomes like almost like the soundscape type thing. Like in that
Yeah.
Dreamer song, you can hear it a lot.
Yeah.
But he's started doing that on nearly every song. But he does it well. Like, it doesn't get overkill or anything.
Yeah, he's somehow very good at it.
And he's a drummer. Like, he he was a drummer since, I don't know, age like 11 or something. And then he just picked up the bass one year. Watched some YouTube videos for like a month, and then he could play the bass. But he plays it so uniquely.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, like lots of bass players actually come up to him and compliment him. I mean, that's a pretty good achievement right
Yeah.
there. A lot of bass players don't
Bass,
get that
no.
much love,
No.
but he is like one of the highlights that people go up to him and they're like, "You're bass playing, man. What the hell?"
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Getting confident about a bassist, that's definitely pretty high prestige.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know? What about the keys? You get complimented for your keys?
No.
He gets complimented for the energy.
Yeah.
The energy.
I've been told a few times that I'm one of the most energetic keyboard players
true,
I've ever
actually.
seen.
Like this
We're
guy's
like
like
bringing up the
headbanging.
signs and
He's
stuff.
headbanging
Yeah,
while
yeah.
playing the chords.
Yeah.
It's great.
Most keyboardists will be there just like
just
keeping
hanging
or they'll
out.
be sitting down like
Yeah.
you know.
That definitely used to be me.
Oh yeah.
For the first few shows that we played, but then I thought that just is so uninteresting. I've got to do something more, and so
Yeah, it's good.
sit up.
It's good to have that idea. Yeah, I'm gonna stand up.
I'm gonna stand up, but that's like
That's
the
gonna be
first
my whole
big
thing.
step. I'll be the standing pianist.
All the keyboards everywhere, like no.
Oh my god!
first.
Revolutionary.
Changing the game, bro.
I'm gonna copyright it.
Yeah.
Standing keyboardist, crazy. Yeah, who's what was one of the craziest setups seen for keys? The band Yes, you know, the 70s band Yes.
Yeah, I've heard it. I've heard some of their songs.
Oh,
yeah.
they're like, I worked on their gig years ago, and I remember the guy on stage had like, you know, like those stacks of different keyboards.
Yeah.
And he's just like surrounded with keyboards, and he's just sitting there like doing this, and I'm just like, okay.
That's definitely what I hope to achieve one
You
day.
hope to achieve that one
Yeah.
day?
We have all the money.
Yeah.
50
for that.
keyboards.
Yeah.
Yeah, 50 keyboards and only use 2.
Yep.
Yeah, that's
the
exactly
one.
what you want.
Yeah.
It's like the drummer who has those crazy drum kits, but all they use
Danny
is like,
Carey.
Yeah, they have
No.
a million
he does use
songs.
everything.
He does
though.
use everything.
But I've seen
Yeah.
a couple of drummers who they'll they'll just have like a crash cymbal and hi hat and snare and kick drum and that's
never
all they
used.
and they don't
Yep.
use like the thousands of toms.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
over here. All for show. Yeah, I remember it blew my mind. I was so dumb. I used to think on stage, you know, like rock bands have like all the guitar amps, like they're like Marshall stacks, and I'm like, that's a lot of amps, and it's like they're not real. What? Yeah, I was
They're just
very,
mini fridges.
yeah, I was very disappointed. I was very disappointed when I found that out at like 13 or something.
Yeah.
I was like, what do you mean? It's so the gig's so loud though. Beautiful ignorance.
Yeah.
Beautiful
Yeah.
ignorance. All right, fellas. Well, what else do we have to look forward to from Capricore?
Well, I know we talked previously before this saying, you know, I'm not going to promote this the whole interview, but
Now's your time.
now's my time.
Yeah.
It's
50
promotion
minutes.
time.
Promotion.
It's promotion time. So we've got our second single coming out, Jafa, which we talked about a little bit before, and that's coming out on September the 3rd. So this is the first time I think I'm announcing the date.
Damn,
Ooh,
exclusive.
Yeah. And we're also setting up a release party for it. So
Oh,
that'll
damn.
be really cool. But yeah, listen to it if you're a Jaffa or if you hate Jaffas. Just listen to it.
I'm a Jaffa through and through, so I'll be listening to it.
All
Very
the Jaffas.
relatable.
It's very relatable.
Very
That's what people say. It's funny because that's definitely one where the hip hop influence comes through. I'm almost like kind of rapping in the verses, and it's just really funny because I put all these different lines and references in it, and I always see this. It's often like this really big, massive, muscly dude who's like, you know, intensely listening, and then I'll say one of the lines, and he'll be like, "Ooh," like he'll put this like face, like, "Ooh, I'm feeling that one." It's really funny, and like most people are laughing, but there'll always be this one motherfucker like in the audience who's just like, "Ooh," like,
I'm hurt.
yeah, this is getting me so deep, man.
Is this about me?
This is about me.
Yeah.
How did you know?
So yeah, a relatable song about Aucklanders, but also fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nah, I look forward to that. It's very different from the song you've got out, Dreamer.
Oh
as
yeah,
well.
incredibly
Yeah.
different. We're changing things up because
Yeah.
I remember Dreamer came out and I thought like this is really cool. It's a good song as its own little song, but it's like it's very polished and very like pretty and stuff. And when people are seeing us live, it's not exactly the best representation of like the rest of the
Yeah,
set.
sure.
So
Definitely not. Nah,
so this
definitely
one
not.
is going to be more like showing people what Capricore's really like live and kind of, I guess it's going to be a segue into us recording kind of the other songs and the more like kind of Kiwiana energy as well. Yeah. So I'm excited for everyone to hear it. Might scare the Dreamer fans. I don't know. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. You've changed.
Changed.
Sell out.
Well, Dreamer's more of a sellout.
Yeah, Dreamer's
song.
more of the sellout. They've unsold out.
Unsold
They've
out.
unsold out.
Is that possible? I don't know. Maybe.
They've become more alternative. They've become more underground. We like above ground music.
Above
please.
ground. above ground. Yeah, becoming more. Yeah, you're less mainstream now.
Yeah.
Just, hurt yourself like that. All right, side stream, side stream.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think let's. I'll get in some quick fires for you fellas. How about that? I always say quick fire questions, but they always end up being a bit longer. So
Yeah, I'll tell some massive story again.
Yeah, that's what happens generally most of the time. But this is one of my favorite ones I've been asking at the moment because I had some absolute bangers. What's like the strangest gig experience you've had? It could be at your own gig or going to a show. Could be either or, for both of you fellas.
Do you have one?
Oh, I do.
Is it too personal about somebody though? Are we going to out someone?
You can just say allegedly.
Allegedly, yeah. Just as.
Well, so alleged.
This could be juicy if there's this much build up.
I mean, this person posted it publicly, so this should be fine.
Okay.
So there was this one band. Should I shout them out? Should I say their name?
If you want.
Oh no, you can talk about this. If this was this a ding?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can talk about this. It was an iconic moment.
Okay.
Yeah. No,
So, yeah.
you can talk about this.
We were
It's
at Ding
okay,
one
it's okay.
time. We were watching Exit Sign.
They're a noise rock band. Kind
Noise
of. That's
rock.
one of the names for them, but
Yeah.
they're kind of one of our personal favorites.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, he was performing and everything. It was his last song. And what's pretty funny also is the guitarist broke 2 strings.
It happens.
It's unfortunate. I hate that. Yep.
Yeah, this is another thing that happened. But so I think it was his last song. It was pretty much the end of his song. And he kind of just walks back and falls over and kind of blacks out a little bit, I think.
Did he like knock himself out or something?
No.
It was his knee, wasn't it?
Yeah, his knee buckled or something.
But it was so intense in that because he was continuing because it's kind of metal as well. So he's like, "Rah!" And everyone just thinks it's like, and it kind of was a part of the performance. That's what was cool. It was almost like he was taking his pain and putting that into the song. But no one knew he was in a lot of pain.
And so when he fell over, it was his knee, and then he got on his knees and crawled over to his pedal board and started fucking with the pedals.
Tweaking. This is what. See, this is where you get noise rock, man.
Yeah.
And while still singing as well.
Yeah.
All his whatever he sings, and then the song finishes, and he's kind of just like
in a lot of pain.
there, just like wondering what the hell just happened, and then he starts
Yeah.
going into shock, and so I had to call the ambulance.
Yeah.
Um,
Waiting around the back of Ding Dong Lounge.
yeah,
Yeah.
and so this was on 420.
Yeah.
So allegedly, the ambulances thought they were high in demand, so that took about an hour and a half to get to Ding Dong Lounge. And by that time, he was fine pretty much. They kind of just gave him an ice pack.
And a pat on the back.
Yeah, and just sent him on home.
But it was pretty intense, but it was cool to watch.
Yeah, it was a very memorable night.
Trying to think if there's been ones at our gigs. Okay, this is like, oh, should I say? Yeah, I could probably talk about this. I just won't say who it is. But so this is even before you were in the band. But I think I've told you this story. This is like early Capricore. We played a wedding.
A wedding?
A wedding. I know, right?
That's a groovy wedding.
Yeah, and it ended up being a bit too groovy.
Oh, right.
So we played this wedding. I won't give too many specifics, but they ended up being like this punch up because we
shit.
riled them so much with like Yeah Nah Yeah, and then we followed it with Bliss.
Everyone
just started raging, and they were even like freaking tearing apart like all the stuff around us. Like they were just so ragey, and it ended up just it's like. Maybe don't. I don't know. You can have us play at your wedding. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. But I just remember thinking, like, what the hell? Like, because we were actually trying to tone things down that night. And I was, like, trying to dress nice and everything. I was like, okay, I want to really be appropriate for this show.
Yeah.
And then, it went ham. A tambourine was stolen and then returned to us on a motorbike. This is kind of out in the country, so I mean.
I love how they returned it, though.
Yeah. This guy, this, like, biker comes back up and he's like, looking for this. Looking for this. Passes me the tambourine. I'm like, thanks, man.
Where is this being? This tambourine.
So that was a pretty weird show.
That is strange.
Because it was a wedding as well. So
Yeah.
it was like,
Is that a Westie wedding?
It wasn't even.
No, damn.
It wasn't even. You'd think so, but no. But I mean, everyone still loved it, and it was still a good time. It was just a few people who were just a bit too ragey. Loved Bliss a bit too much. They'd had too many drinks.
Yep.
Yeah.
Fuck that. Oh, those are good ones. Those are good ones. Those are good ones. So I've got another one. Favorite musical artist you're listening to right now? It could be famous or like a local artist or whatever. Something you've been listening to.
I think my favorite would be Blunt Dog. They're
Oh, I don't know
a
them.
they're a New Zealand band. I'm not too sure whereabouts they're based. I was talking to the singer, and he was kind of giving me answers of like different members around New Zealand. But yeah, they're kind of like, I guess they're like indie kind of rock. I'm not too great with
indie.
genres. I'm not too great with
I'm not too great with genders.
genres. Yeah.
Name 3 genders.
Yeah, but it's kind of like a chill kind of indie rock vibe. And they're really pretty, and I like them a lot. Yeah.
True. About yourself?
Well, last week I listened to a lot of Idols.
Idols? I've heard the name.
I saw them last year, and it was really, really cool. Yeah, that really kind of aggressive, but still post-punk energy.
So a punk band.
Yeah. And their new stuff though, they've been getting a little bit more like experimental, like electronic elements in it. But yeah, really cool. I just really love that band, and I was realizing the other day I was like just listening to songs throughout the discography, and I was like, I really love this band. And you know, the cherry on top is recently at a festival they brought out Danny Brown on stage with them to play a song, and I was like, oh my god, it's like my 2 different worlds coming together. I'm so happy. So yeah, I've been listening to a lot of Idols at the moment.
No, me.
Yeah.
What else have I got? I can pull out of the hat. Oh, what is being in a band? What is like a cost that no one thinks about?
Parking.
Parking.
Parking, yeah.
That is the most annoying expense that
Yeah.
we have.
We're talking in literal expenses.
Wow.
Yeah.
We can talk about non-literal expenses.
It's alright, I won't go there. I won't
hate
go
this
there.
shit. I'm dying on the inside. So parking.
Parking, and I do alright with guitar stuff. I'm not having to buy too much. I'm not one of those people that has like a bunch of pedals. That's why he's also great. He has so many different sound effects on the keys that I don't have to have too many pedals or anything.
That's true. That actually, that's a really good point.
I just have one.
Can do
I have a
so
distortion
many of
pedal,
the
and that's
effects.
it.
Yeah, you can do all the effects.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fucking really
It's
good.
the effects good. So not only is he like adding melody, but he's like, whenever we want a weird sound or something,
Just
like,
gotta, or a bass line, another bass line or something.
Yeah.
If you want to do that, that's fucking cool. God, man, having a
pretty cool.
keyboardist, eh?
Yeah, could even do some sampling soon.
Yeah.
We talked about that a little bit.
Are you gonna get a chaos pad?
I don't know what I'm gonna get.
You
but I'm gonna
guys,
get
your
something.
sound could work with a chaos pad.
Yeah.
I reckon you could do it. Doing that.
I don't know what that one is, but that sounds pretty cool.
It's just like those. It's like a device you get, and you can like move your finger up and down. It's just like a filter essentially, and you just make like wishy-washy space sound effects.
Oh,
and
I can
stuff.
kind of already do that with Logic.
Yeah, but then you can have the pad though, and it's just,
It's just the
It's
extra.
more aesthetically pleasing.
yeah, it's much more pleasing. It's like digital. It's like a digital disc. It's like it's everything's within like the program, but having the actual thing and twisting knobs.
Yeah.
You know what? Costs food.
Food.
Like takeaways, like because you're going out so much, and it's for such a long time. Like when you have like set up time, and then the gig, or like if you've like even today, like I've got a gig tonight where I'm doing a solo gig. It's like, okay, and then it's probably like lunch and dinner, and then suddenly you're spending all this money on takeaways, and you're like, oh.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, my health's going down as well. It's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, there's not much healthy places to eat.
Nah, it's fucking shit. Like, I know
sometimes
what
you're
you
so
mean.
hungry, you just got to go with whatever's the closest. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, Burger King again. All right.
Yeah.
McDonald's for the billionth time. Sweet. Try not getting. Especially one thing I hated when finishing gigs late, especially when I was doing like covers and stuff, was going to McDonald's late on a Friday, Saturday. It's like, I just finished this gig with all these drunk people going crazy.
Yeah.
I'm tired. You play for like 3-4 hours or
Yeah.
something. I'm ready to go home, but I'm fucking starving. Got no food at home. I go to Macca's, and then there's like a huge line always because all the stoners are fucking like, man, like I'm fucking hungry. And then you get all the drunks there as well, being like, I could walk through the drive-through and they'll give me food. It's like,
You're just tired and hungry.
yeah, and you just
Yeah.
have to deal with and then someone who like takes forever to order because they don't even know, like, this is a Wendy's. It's like, no, bro, it's Macca's. I heard one dude was real stoned at the drive-through, and I heard him say like BK or something. I was like, oh, dude. Or like, you see like the family minivans, and you're like, this is gonna be another 20
Yeah.
10
minutes.
share packs.
Yeah. And they got to work out what's going to be the cheapest
Yeah.
for like a family of
Yeah.
6 or whatever.
Yeah, it's like fuck. Yeah, I don't miss doing that shit. So I
Yeah.
I feel you on that. That's,
Yeah.
that's a good one. I've got one more I can pull out. Let me see. Favorite. What's something that in the band you guys been working together for a while now? What's something that you were like? I don't know, like a musical. Like, I want to say like a tonal quality or something that, I don't know, like you appreciate more now being in a band together? What's something that you appreciate or like you've learned like being in this band together? Something like, it could be like, I don't know, like more appreciative of like bass, or like more appreciative of like, if you know what I mean? Like,
Oh,
something
that kind of like a musical thing rather than just being in a band.
it could be either. I'm just kind of
Yeah.
more thinking like, for example, when I was in a band a lot and playing, one thing I learned was like, oh yeah, like chill out on the gat a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, things like that.
I think for me, maybe Jarek's bass playing.
Oh, yeah.
Because I jumped on the bass the other day when we were testing out Udian on the drums. And Jarek, the bass player, obviously late to his own house. So I jumped on the bass for a bit.
That's a classic bass drum band.
Late to his own house and practice. I jumped on the bass to fill in that for a bit, because you can play a lot of our songs without the keys. So I jumped on the bass, tried to sound out what he was playing, and he just does so many little complicated, or just so many like little subtle things that you kind of subconsciously hear but don't really realize you're hearing.
Or it's like how you do it. Like,
Yeah, and like the technique that he kind of unofficially has is like really good. And so I was very impressed on how interesting and unique and good of a bass player he actually is.
It's the same with me, like, because we also have our friend Sifa, or Joey Fevs from Esmond, really close friend of ours, and like he helped us out by learning some of his parts, and he's actually a really good bass player, and he was doing the songs technically like correctly and stuff, and it was sounding really good, but then I was still thinking like, damn, like how does Jarek do what he does so differently? And it's the same when I watch any bass player. Like we're giving massive props out to our bass player, I guess, but like, yeah, he's really good at what he does and really interesting. But I will say being in a band has made me love drumming so much more. Like now when I see a band live, half of the time I'm not even focusing on the rest of the band. I'm like watching the drummer. And that's since being in a band. I just love working with drummers and just hearing live drums. Like it excites me. Or like to see the different ways in which a drummer will do a fill. I don't know, like I've just become a lover of the drums since joining bands. Like I remember before, I mean, I started playing in a band when I was 13. So all I can go back to is like, kid years of listening to music. But I remember being a kid, it was always like listening to the vocals and everything like that. And I still do. But now if I'm watching a band live, I'm really focusing on the drummer. Because I think a good drummer can really make a band,
Definitely. Yeah, drummers make or break bands.
Yeah.
Often is and obviously vocals as well, of course.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, that's cool. No, that's cool. It's good. It's good to like appreciate. Yeah, I think that took me a little bit too, like with other instruments in your band, and be like, oh yeah, the bass is really important, eh? Or it's like, if the drummer misses this, we're fucked. Like, yeah, drives the band more than I think, especially a guitarist. And I was like, for myself, I was in my guitar world.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh yeah, that's right. Like there's other people. Oh, sweet fellas. Great having you on. It's Capricore, everybody.
Yep.
Anything else you guys want to shout out before we head off?
Jafa. Yeah, I think that's it, eh?
Yep.
Yeah.
Just
Thanks for having us.
Fantastic Auckland.
Just another fantastic
That's what it's
Aucklander.
always stood for.
Yeah, always.
Exactly.
Fantastic.
No
people.
other connotation to that.
Yeah, fantastic, man. We're fantastic.
Sweet. All right. Thanks everyone for listening. We'll call it there, fellas, and thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having us.
All
Yeah,
good.
thank you.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Bye.